Hello, welcome back to the world again, and today I'm actually going to be building some buildings for the city, because it's not much of a city without buildings. I do think I'm going to talk about why I was gone for a little bit, but I'll save that for a little bit later, probably during some building or something. Also, you may notice that the recording for the replay mod is up in the top left, but none of the files are there. I don't really know what happened to them, so yeah, there's not gonna be any replay mod right now. But anyway, for now, let's just get into what I'm doing right now. So, right now I'm just working towards collecting some materials for the buildings. I'm not sure if I have a real plan at the moment, but I do start planning a bit better later on. The first thing I go out of my way to go grab is some of those spruce trees back on the mountains nearer to spawn, because spruce wood is pretty nice to have, just some sort of darker wood to go with other materials I'm gonna be building with. I head to the hill behind my house to start building, well, growing some big trees, not building, so that I can get large amounts of spruce wood because big tree is big. I also work on making some very basic markings for where some more roads are gonna be. These will not be built for probably a while, but I just wanted to mark out where some of them would be. I still don't have like 100% of what I'm planning on doing for the city, but I do think it would be interesting to have like different districts of the city that are based on like where different roads are and such. But like I said, don't really know what all the districts are gonna be or anything, just sort of having vague ideas at the moment. After doing that, I noticed a lot of cows have gotten loose, and yeah, it turns out I was bullied by a lanky man passing through, which you know, I guess it happens, but now I gotta get my cows back in, and I don't like that. Uh, After that incident, I decided to make an auto composter to take my wrath out on vegetables because frankly it's just the most efficient way to be angry at farm. After my hunger for vegetable violence was satiated, I start work on my first draft of this house, but I'm embarrassed by its mere existence, so I'm kinda thinking I'll just skip through it and just give you like the briefest glimpse of it. After this, I use Lightmatica to like figure out what I'm doing first. I mostly am using Lightmatica because I don't want to see embarrassments like this thing exist ever again. And so it's easier to do it in a creative testing world and then do it on this survival world so that I don't have to live with the disgrace that is this building. So let's just switch over to the Lightmatica building because like I just want to stop looking at this building. It causes me physical distress how I made these windows. Moving on. First thing I need to do after leveling that horrid building is work on collecting materials. Luckily, Lightmatica lets you look at the material list of any of your blueprints, which will make collecting the materials a lot easier. Luckily, most of the materials are pretty easy to collect, though things like the stone bricks and warped wood will take a little bit of time to collect, but it shouldn't be too bad. Warped wood is just wood, so I just need to go into the nether and chop tree, though I detest the nether wart blocks being leaves because they don't decay. So I dealt with that for a little bit, but at some point I just decided to let it stay there. I also make some custom banners, but that's decently easy. Just need to know what you're doing and what pattern to use and such. But anyway, after collecting all those materials, I can actually finally get to building the house thing. But while we do that, like I said, I'd like to talk about a couple things while we do this. First thing, obviously, the recording is up there in the top left, but the replay files did not work, so yeah. Unfortunately, there will not be any replay mod for today, because the files did not work. Either that or I deleted them, but I don't think I did, but I don't know, honestly. You also may have noticed during the course of this video that I sound slightly different. I'm trying to do a bit of voice work, so it's still not exactly what I'd call consistent, but I am trying to do a bit with my voice to make it sound a little better. At least I think so. So it may not be the most consistent yet, but I'm trying to make it sound better for me. But lastly, in the thing that I originally was going to talk about was the whole thing with, it having been a couple weeks now since I've actually posted anything. That's mostly been because, honestly, a mixture of being lazy and motivation issues. Motivation mostly because it's really hard to record for, multiple hours and then edit it down and it only be a few minutes long. So the main thing I'm gonna try and do to combat that is to try not to go quite as quickly paced in the future, because I have been going kinda quick, I think, in editing. I'm also planning on recording slightly differently, where I'll have my voice microphone going while I'm recording, so that I can talk during recording and also during editing, so that I kind of have two different ways of talking. I'm hoping that should help out a little bit with some motivation issues I've been having, but other than that, it was mostly just being lazy and not wanting to work on it. So I'll try not to do that in the future, but it isn't exactly something I can promise. But anyway, let's just get into the building, because I think that's everything I really needed to talk about. Nothing else I think is really too important to bring up. But anyway, I hope you enjoy building. I think I'm just gonna try and time-lapse or just cut through this. Not really sure exactly how, but let's go. But after one time-lapse, I now have a restaurant in place. I labeled it inn, but it seems more like a restaurant, so I don't really know, but hey, I like it, so who cares. But after finishing the inn, I decided to just throw some extra food I had in there, because it seems like it made sense for it to go in there. I think this place needs food. Also, I will be walking through that place a bit more later, because I realize now that I didn't really do that. And after killing a random wandering trader for his leads, I decided to check on how my farms were doing, and they're doing pretty good. This is a lot of wheat. Not 100% sure what I'm using it for, but most likely mud bricks, because that's really the main use for wheat right now. I also ran and grabbed my hoe because there was a bunch of little spots that weren't tilled because zombies and creatures and stuff kept jumping on my tilled area. So now they're retilled again, which is nice. Because honestly, that was bugging me more than it probably should have. And before I started working on the next building, I decided to grab some of the wool from my wool farm to thicken out some of those roads that I marked out. I'll definitely need more wool to finish this, because, this takes a lot of wool, but hey, that's alright. But the next building I decide to start working on is the one that's gonna be on that first little outcrop that I made. And last time how I said it was gonna be a rock shop? Yeah, I'm a liar. It's gonna be a blacksmith. Now, you may be asking, why exactly did I make that decision? Why did I change my mind? And the answer is, I don't know. I was building it, and the whole time I was building it, I was like, hey, this is gonna be a cool rock shop. And then I got to the very end of it, and I'm like, that's a blacksmith. That is clearly not a rock shop. What was I thinking? But hey, it's a blacksmith now. I'm gonna build the rock shop across the street. It'll be fine. But anyway, insert me collecting materials again for another new building. I'm gonna go through this a lot faster than last time because it's basically the same thing. Collecting materials for the definitely rock store, not blacksmith. Well, here's the blacksmith. I'm gonna speed through building this too because it's a blacksmith. It's very similar to the one that was in like the old villages with like the weird roof, so you'll see. And a speed later, and we got another building, and I like this one too. Despite being a blacksmith, it is pretty cozy. I like it. Well, anyway, now it's time to work on the actual rock shop, which was supposed to be where the blacksmith was, but now it's not. Now it's gonna be across the street, but hey, it worked out in the end, so it'll be fine. And thanks to this rock shop, my birch logs are finally gonna come in handy. Which, you know, I like, because honestly I think people hate birch logs more than they should, because I think they're okay. I don't actually remember if I used the logs or just planks, but either way, they're both okay. You just be better at using them, huh? Stop complaining about birch logs. They're fine. Unfortunately, the Creeper Mafia did not agree and tried to murder me after I got the warped logs, so, like, that's not good. That's a lot of creepers. But I'm fine, because, you know, it's just creepers. And they're now dead, because they are not very good at working together. Stupid Creeper Mafia. Get good. And possibly out of pure spite, and also just because I kinda like them, I'm using acacia wood now too, because frankly, I don't care about you guys' opinion. I would like the woods. Stop complaining. They're okay. Like, why do people not like acacia? It's orange, and that's kinda cool. Anyway, after considering building an entire house out of slime blocks and honey blocks, I decided to just start working on the house. And so let's speed through that too, because we're getting close to 15 minutes and I've built a house, and you guys gotta wait until the 4th house, because that one's my favorite house, and I want to get to that one. And even though I had a little bit of issues with parts of this, like the first time I tried to build it, it turned into a blacksmith somehow, I think the rock shop turned out pretty good, so I think it's okay. It's got 2 layers. It's got the bottom house part, and then there's the staircase on the right that leads up to like where people live and stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. But anyway, without further ado, we need to get to the best house in the entire village. House number 4. It is the best, and anybody who argues with me is wrong, so let's get to that. But anyway, let's get right into it. Here comes the 4th and the best house in the entire village. No questions needed. It is objectively the best house. And the best house is now finished. No questions needed. It is the best. No, yeah, there we go. Let's no questions. Yeah. Let's do a quick house tour real quick. This is the house, and we're done. Moving on. Let's do a quick look into the inn restaurant thing real quick, because you didn't get a very good look at that. It's got a couple stories with chairs and stuff. It's got windows too, which most of them are not the best, but they're windows, so, pay money to come to this amazing restaurant. It's great. Best house on the left, blacksmith on the right. We got ourselves a little homey area right here. The rock store is across the street. And yeah, that's about it. We have made some pretty good progress today, I think, including building the best house ever, and also 3 other ones, which are pretty cool too. And just before I sign off today, I forced my villager to give me money, because why not? I see no problems with this. Moving on. And besides for a little bit of organizing, that's gonna be all for today. Sorry again for being gone for like a month, but you know, I'll try not to do that again because I did not want to. I could not get my brain to do the thing. I'll try and be a lot more consistent, but yeah, it happens sometimes, I guess. But anyway, I guess that is going to be all for now. So I hope to see you next week and not in 3 or 4 because I feel bad. Anyway, I'll be working on making my voice at least a little bit more consistent, I hope. But besides for that, I'll see you soon, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.